Relentless Talk Radio. This is episode 41, segment 2. I have Lauren Woodard from Horse Sense Leadership on the line with me. This is so cool. Where are you actually located right now?
You're in 64th and Shea, across streets.
Isn't technology amazing? How you can be there in your studio and I can be here is just so amazing.
It is.
So tell me who you are and what you do.
Well, as you said, Lauren Woodard, Horse Sense Leadership. Basically, horses helping your business success through personal development.
Cool. So why horses?
I do say so myself.
Like, how did that happen? I mean, like, you know, did you the horses came first, right?
Absolutely. I've been doing horses all my life. I teach, I train, but I've been doing this. I just came upon an agenda for a seminar I did back in 2006, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize I've been doing this in a different form since way back, since 2006. So.
Isn't that funny?
Mm-hmm.
But that's what happened for me when I created Relentless Talk Radio. I realized that I've been doing these 4 things my whole life. There's nothing new and different about it. What's different about it is that I put them all together.
Right. Like, oh.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Blind, obvious. Yeah.
People kept on telling me, Michelle, do one thing. And I'm like, this is what I do. You know what I mean? Like, I tell stories, and these are the things that interest me. So I don't know. I can't really narrow it down. So how did you kind of realize that the horse thing and the corporate leadership thing were a good fit? Like, where'd the light bulb come on?
Well, back in 2006, before I started doing that, I had some clients, and I don't teach kids. So it was, everybody was a business owner and had their own stuff going on. And I was always relating it to try to get them to think, because for some reason, when I tell people what to do with their horse, I think they should just do what I say. They need a little convincing. So I would say, okay, so, you know, you were telling me about every week you have people that quit or you have to fire or whatever it is. And I said, the reason that happens is, and the one business owner interrupted me and she goes, you don't have any idea why my employees quit and why I have to fire them. You don't have that set up. I go, I watch you 3 times a week with your horse. I know exactly why your employees quit and why you fire people.
And did you tell her?
Yes. And
was she like, whoa?
She was. And most people even today, they're like that because they don't really believe it's true. I have some people that come, sometimes a lot of people come for closing sales, a lot for attracting your ideal client. And in my mind, now I don't say it out loud, but in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, any client I'm thinking. But, you know,
right.
And when they do not believe that it could happen this way. But when you get out with the horses that are loose, you're in a loose herd. So you don't have leverage. You don't have a rope, a halter, a bridle, or something like that where you can make that horse do what you want. And you really don't have leverage with people either, but you don't see it sometimes. You think you can make them do something. When you walk out that herd of horses and you think you're this wonderful person that's going to go sell them your, hey, let's do it my way, have a blast because I love the pretty horse, and the whole herd turns and runs. You got.
I had that experience this morning, actually. That was really interesting. It's interesting to say that.
Yeah, you need to figure out a different way to influence them. And it can come as a total shock to people who really think, oh, they're sweet and they're nice and they assume everybody likes them. And that horse is going to turn and go away.
So how about the other way? How about, like, you know, people that thought they were doing it the wrong way and they find the horse comes in and eats right out of their hand? Does that happen too?
It does happen, but a lot of times I'm an interpreter. So I see what the horse does, and I tell the person this, this, and this, because everybody wants to pet the nose, and they want to take the picture, and they want, oh, pretty horsey kind of thing. I shouldn't say everybody, I should say women, because they're more standoffish with that.
Right.
But a lot of times when the horse comes up, the person moves their feet. And I'm like, why'd you just do that? And they go, do what? I said, why'd you move? I didn't. Well, you did. But we do things all the time. We don't realize it. You're doing it with people too. If somebody walks up to you and you don't realize that you have given up your personal space because of their energy or what space they take up,
You know, I had that happen last weekend. I walked up to a person and they took a couple steps back. And I went, oh, okay. So I took I realized that person wasn't ready to talk to me. I mean, I was in their face, you know?
So I realize it, Michelle. You know, you're ahead of the game there.
I know. I'm like a really, I read body language a lot. It's from 35 years of being a personal trainer.
Yes.
I can tell by the way a person walks into the room when they're just like, you know,
everybody else, whether you think
not
whether you noticed it and recognized it and calibrated it into what your next move is where
right.
you run into trouble. They don't take advantage of what they inherently know. And since 84% of communication is nonverbal, I suggest that people come and get a little help from the nonverbal species that can help you with your business. That being horses.
Interesting. So what's the biggest lesson that you think you've learned in the process of growing your business?
About growing the business or about what?
No, it's a big like aha moment.
Oh my gosh, I have them like daily. That's what I really love about my business. I'm like, wow, who'd have thought that would have happened? You know?
Like I'll say, like, for example, I decided to pull back from consulting. You know why? The people who need me
won't hire you.
Are the least likely to use me as a consultant.
Won't hire you. Yeah, I have the same problem.
Right? So the people who need someone to come in and do a heavy lifter and move forward, what I found is the people that want to move forward make it happen. Mm-hmm. They find the people and they make it happen. And the people that don't find the people and the money and the resources, it never happens.
Right.
And so by the time it was hard for me to get my ideal client to actually, they would hire me, but to take the action. And in November, I took my last, it was in December last year, I took my very last retainer for a consulting client. Yeah. And I really made the decision in February that when that client wasn't engaging, that it was really time for me to let that part of my business go.
It is hard.
It was a huge lesson for me.
But horses add.
Is there a huge one like that where you're just like, oh, this wasn't working. I thought it would, tell me, just give me a couple guineas, a couple good ones.
It really is, because nobody else does this type of thing with the horses. I do have that advantage. By the same token, people do not believe it can work. Sometimes they'll come because somebody else told them to. Somebody who suddenly in 2 months their sales have doubled, and they'll say, "Well, I got a new coach," and that being me and the horses. So they might try it out because they think, "Oh, that's cute," you know. So you have that horse element to kind of help, but nobody believes it can happen until they're here, and then they're frustrated, they're embarrassed, and there's work to do because that horse just went not working. Yeah.
So is the lesson that you have to get them in the ring? The horse?
Yeah, it really is.
Tell them, you got to get in there.
Huh?
Yeah, you can't just tell people that it works. You actually have to you have to show them.
Yeah, they act like they believe you, and they're like, "Oh, that's nice," you know. But yes, mm-hmm. And then they have to run into somebody who it works really well for, and it works really well for a lot of people. It just takes them a little bit of time to get over that hump of, we just do not see who we are. And that's one of my favorite modules for working with people, is called "What Do Other People Think of You?" Because we don't really know. A horse will tell you, we can't believe a person who's going to tell us, because if they're our friend, they're either trying not to hurt our feelings or they're trying to be the devil's advocate or one of those things. But it's untrustworthy. Everybody that comes here is going to know that horse couldn't care less whether
he's got his own mind, right?
They don't care how you dress, they don't care what you do, how much money you have. Either they are willing to work with you, or they're going to go, you lost me at hello. No. Bye, Felicia. You know?
And your horses aren't like trail horses. I've had trail horses where they're like, I'm going this way because this is the way I always go. Your horses are more independent, right? They're more.
Horses are very independent. All horses have the mentality to be independent. We happen to use a lot of leverage to make them slaves.
Cool. So I bet you, like, the topic for the over topic for today is ignoring the naysayers and trusting your gut. I bet you'd have to do like a shit ton of that, right?
It's a fight. It's a fight. And I'll tell you, because like I said, nobody believes this works, and it does.
Right.
But I did have to struggle with that all my life because my mom was that way with me. Back a zillion years ago, I was charging half what everybody else charged. And I finally, after like 5 years, decided to raise my price $5. So I'm still at half. And she said, what in the world would make you ever think that somebody would want to pay you for what you have to say?
You know, isn't that interesting? And I was talking about that today. Did you hear me talk about that? That sometimes your naysayers are the most surprising people. Like, I had a couple people this year who I really thought were on my team.
Yeah, like your mom.
Uncle to me. Like, I remember, you ever been in all those conversations when you're like the dog? You're like,
the RPA dog, yes. What just happened?
And it's gotten under my skin, quite frankly. You know what I mean? Like, it's taken me a while to kind of recover from these two very toxic conversations.
Yes.
And I think those naysayers are sometimes the people closest to you, like your mom, or, you know, people in your networking group, or your partner, or your dear friends, family, brothers and sisters, right? I mean, I remember when I was doing Weight Watchers, they warned you against the folks in your family that were going to try to make you eat. It happens to me all the time. Like, people are always trying to flip and feed me. I'm like, no, I've got a show coming up, or I just don't eat that, or it's just not good for me. I'm going to feel like crap. But they constantly push food on you, you know, because it's their way of showing love, but it's also undermining your success. So I think that, you know, isn't it funny? So have you found that naysayers are usually the people closest to you?
Absolutely, because the people who aren't close to me will pretend that they're like, oh, that's cool, you know, and not say anything else. They're not going to do it, but they pretend that it's cool.
That's a good point. Like, if people are the people that actually have the courage to kind of disagree with you, are the ones that actually are in your life, right?
Have the courage to what the heck are people doing? Always right.
You know what I mean? Like, the people that have that, you know, like your mom saying, like, what are you doing, right? Like, you know, most people, like, if you meet somebody at a cocktail party, they're not as likely to say
exactly
what you're thinking about, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, like you said earlier about what Wayne's going to talk about next with conversation being art. Yeah. A lot of times with the horses, it's easier to see because you have 1,200-pound animals right in front of you. You should be able to catch nuance and a little bit of movement, like miss it all the time with people. But conversation is an art, and we rarely recognize. I'm a noticer. I notice stuff all the time. That's what I do all day long, is notice stuff.
Right.
When you notice that a conversation isn't having the result you wanted, or you're not being effective, you need to do something else. It's not that horse's job.
Oh yeah, I mean, these two conversations have made me go, wait a minute, hang on. I mean, there's one person that's common in these two conversations. So what am I doing that is causing that? And I think that's why my gut is a little quiet. Does your gut get quiet on you when that happens?
Oh,
my gut does.
And because sometimes because I am such a noticer, and because I do teach this on a daily basis, every once in a while I'll go, oh my gosh, I just
did that.
I just did
right. that. I just did that. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's interesting. You know, you always have to take a look at things from what can I take from every interaction, right? Like, so some people are just going to be naysayers because they just like saying no. I mean, look, when you're in sales training, when you ask someone to buy something, the first thing they say is going to be no. When you get no, that's good because you got that no out of the way. Now you can get into like what are their objections and quantify why you have the solution to their problem, right? But if you don't get that first no,
yeah,
right,
that is something that I talk to every business client that comes to me. I ask them, when does a negotiation start? And everybody's trying to get, okay, what is she asking for? What answer does she want? You know, and sometimes they'll say about or when I'm 10 feet away or and the a negotiation actually starts when the word no, or the meaning of the sentence is no, comes up, because before that, it's a conversation. You are not negotiating.
And I think to myself, you got to have the naysayer to kind of get to the. You got to have
a or you're not negotiating. You're just talking. Once somebody says no, on either side, now the negotiation starts, and that's easier to see with words. It's much easier to see with words.
So what did you tell your mom in that situation? Like, how do you deal with the naysayers in your life?
You know, it's taken me a long time to find out that what I do is something that is very valuable. It's very workable. I have people every day that it works for. I know it works for me. So why should I take somebody else's opinion over my own? And I'm talking about being effective.
I mean, like, why do we do that to ourselves, right? We have to ask. I take a poll of like everyone in my life that agrees with my, and you know, I think taking polls is important. It gives you feedback, but ultimately, at the end of the day, you're the one with the mission, so you got to move forward, right?
I'm going to weigh ineffective or effective. Is it working or does it not work? And some people don't realize what they're doing doesn't work because they're working with a different set of numbers. And then you go, okay, perspective is so important. So when you get the horse's perspective, it's completely different from any person's perspective. That can be that thunk. We don't get perspective from inside. We get perspective from outside. Something that happens and we go, oh, duh.
No, you're right.
From outside. So
you have this thing called Warrior Women Within that you do. Tell me a little bit about that.
It is just a big day of fun. We do some of this horse work. We start with the horses and it's not an in-depth anything. It's just a really fun time for team building and for learning the beginnings of, hey, wait a minute, I could be mistaken about this because the horse said I was mistaken. And you learn that for a while. And then we all learn how to shoot arrows. And
so like arrows, right? Like,
yeah. And so
is it on a horse or is it? I think I remember from the last time we spoke, there's part of it that's with the horses, but part of it's with something different than horses, right?
Iron horse trigger, yes, because I am not going to have, I mean, think of all my insurance friends are going, Lauren, you have a bunch of people who don't know how to shoot a bow and arrow riding a horse that they don't know how to ride. That's right.
So you have a horse component, but then you have like an iron horse that's stable and not living.
Trigger is a 55-gallon drum mounted in a utility trailer, saddled up with a stick pony head and a rope tail, pulled by my maintenance cart. Very trustworthy.
So do you know yet when the next one's going to be?
I should have the date for that probably within the next week or so.
So let me know, because I'd like to, show up and do a little special edition Relentless Talk Radio. We've been talking about doing this for almost a year now. And I want to come in and witness and participate a little bit if I can, doing a one-on-one with them. So what makes you different than other horse people?
Well, I'm different than other people in general, but what makes other horse people is that I've had all that. I had very high level formal training in hunter jumper dressage in the East. Trainers were Grand Prix level, some Olympic riders. I don't do that, but what I do is, I did it a zillion years ago. What I can do now with the same thing, only 100 times better, is gallop all my horses bareback and bridleless with a string around their neck through the Phoenix Mountain Preserve.
Wow. How many horses?
I have 4. 3 of them are mine. One of them is here getting her life back together again.
Wow. That's cool. I'd like to see that. That's pretty cool. So Lauren, how do people get a hold of you to talk about horse sense leadership, working with them, and any kind of training or extra work with you? How do they get a hold of you?
I am really, really big on actually talking to people. So I'm going to say,
okay. So what's your number?
480-951-1546. I have my websites. I have Facebook page. You can go on Facebook for Sense Leadership. There's videos on there. There's Warrior Woman. You can PM me, and then we'll talk, because it's so much different to talk to somebody than email or message them. Not that you can't do that. You can, but I will call you. And we'll talk about
1546.
That's me.
That's you. So the number's on the screen right now. That's cool. The Be Live just changed their thing.
Why are none of you calling me already?
Well, I'm talking to you on Facebook Live. So, Lauren, I really appreciate your time. You and I have you were one of the first episodes. I have to go back and.
It was a while.
We were episodes of Relentless Talk Radio, so I'm glad we were able to have you come back on in this format. When we met, I was shooting at a different radio station and didn't have control of the video. So now I do, which is awesome. So this video will be going to Micalizzi Enterprises YouTube channel, and people can see it there shortly. I'm loading, so I'm hopefully going to catch up on that tonight, tomorrow. This, I moved, and it's just like, holy crap, just trying to get everything, all my ducks and my horses going in the right direction. So, Lauren, thanks for your time today. I look forward to seeing you out your ranch. Have a good day. Yes.
My last is, I have it framed on my desk here, and it says, I am right on schedule.
Yay! And we are. Awesome. Thanks, Lauren. Have a great day.